Good evening, everyone. I want you to think for a moment about the word control. We spend so much of our lives trying to hold on to things, trying to control the outcomes, trying to make sure everything goes exactly how we planned it. But here's the truth: life doesn't care about our plans. Life throws us curveballs, takes unexpected turns, and sometimes, despite our best efforts, things fall apart. Life is full of unexpected twists and turns, moments that challenge us, shake us, and sometimes even bring us to our knees. In those moments, fear has a way of creeping in, whispering lies into our minds. It tells us we're not enough, that we won't make it, that everything is out of control. Fear tells us that if we don't hold on tighter, if we don't try harder, if we don't fix it ourselves, everything will fall apart. But here's the truth that fear doesn't want you to know: it's a liar. Fear thrives on the illusion of control. We like to believe that if we plan every step, anticipate every problem, and solve every challenge before it even happens, we can avoid pain, failure, or disappointment. But the reality is, we can't control everything. Life isn't a perfectly mapped out journey where things go exactly as we planned. The more we try to control, the more we tighten our grip, the more we feel that pressure mounting on our shoulders. And sooner or later, it becomes too much to bear. That's where faith comes in. Faith is the opposite of fear. Fear says you're on your own and you better figure this out, but faith says you don't have to do this by yourself. Trust that God has your back. Faith reminds us that we don't have to have all the answers because we serve a God who already does. When we let go of the need to control, we make space for God to step in and take over. There's a certain freedom that comes when we finally release the tight grip we have on our lives. It's in the act of letting go that we actually find the strength we've been looking for. You see, it's not weakness to surrender control, it's strength. Strength doesn't come from holding on to every problem and carrying every burden. It comes from trusting that God is bigger than the obstacles we face. In every season of life, we're going to face challenges, we're going to face setbacks, moments of confusion, and times when we feel like giving up. But those are the moments where we're called to trust God the most. Fear wants to paralyze you, to make you feel small, to keep you stuck in a cycle of worry and doubt. But faith? When we let go and allow God to take over, we're stepping into the life we were meant to live, one where we're not weighed down by fear, but empowered by faith. We've all experienced moments of frustration when life doesn't unfold the way we imagine. We make plans, set goals, and work hard, only to find that things don't always go according to our timeline or expectations. We wonder why doors close, why opportunities slip through our fingers, or why certain paths seem blocked despite our best efforts. In these moments, it's easy to feel discouraged, to question whether we're on the right track, or to believe that somehow we've missed the mark. But what if the disappointment you feel isn't a sign of failure, but a redirection? What if God's plan for you is far bigger, far bigger, far better than anything you could ever dream of? We often operate within the limits of our own understanding, thinking we know what's best for ourselves. We see only a small piece of the puzzle, focusing on what's in front of us, while God sees the entire picture. His plan isn't just about today or tomorrow, it's about eternity. It's about your ultimate purpose, the fulfillment of a divine destiny that surpasses anything you could ever imagine. While we may think we know the best path for our lives, God knows where we truly need to be. And sometimes that means the doors we want to open must stay closed. Sometimes it means we must wait when we're ready to move forward. It's easy to get frustrated when we're in a season of waiting or when we face setbacks. We want things to happen on our terms and in our time. But what we often fail to realize is that God's timing is always perfect. What may feel like a delay is actually a part of His plan to prepare us for something greater. Sometimes, the waiting season is a season of growth. It's a time when God is working behind the scenes, aligning people, circumstances, and opportunities in ways we can't see. Just because things aren't happening when we want them to doesn't mean they aren't happening at all. Trusting in God's plan requires us to surrender our desire for control. It requires us to release our grip on the future and trust that the same God who created the universe has a purpose for our lives that far exceeds our understanding. When we trust that God's plan is bigger than ours, we can find peace in the uncertainty. We can rest in the assurance that even when things don't go our way, They are going according to God's way. So the next time you find yourself feeling frustrated or disappointed, remember this: God's plan for you is greater than anything you could ever imagine. He knows what's best for you, and His timing is always perfect. What may look like a setback today could be setting you up for a blessing beyond your wildest dreams tomorrow. The road to success, healing, or peace is rarely a straight line. It's often filled with unexpected detours, moments of doubt, and times when we wonder if we'll ever make it to where we want to be. We strive, we struggle, and sometimes we fall short. It's easy to get frustrated with the process, especially when it feels like we're not making the progress we desire. But here's the truth: every step, every stumble, and every setback is part of the journey. Each moment, no matter how difficult, plays a role in shaping who we are and where we're headed. It's natural to want quick results. We live in a world that celebrates instant gratification, where success stories often focus on the destination and not the journey that got someone there. But the reality is, true growth happens in the process, in those moments when things don't go according to plan. The challenges we face aren't there to break us, they're there to build us. They're shaping us into the person we need to become. In order to step into the hard days, without the moments of frustration, we wouldn't fully appreciate the victories. Without the stumbles, we wouldn't know how to stand strong when we finally find our footing. Every step of the process, no matter how small or difficult, is bringing you closer to your goal. You are exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. Sometimes the process is messy. Sometimes it's slow. But every moment is necessary. We often feel the urge to control everything, to rush the journey, to bypass the struggles and get to the good part. But in doing so, we miss out on the lessons that are meant to transform us. The process teaches us patience, resilience, and trust. It forces us to let go of our limited perspective and surrender to the unfolding of something greater than we can understand in the moment. Letting go of control isn't easy. It requires faith, a deep trust that what's unfolding is exactly what's meant to happen, even if it doesn't make sense at the time. But when we embrace the process, we allow ourselves to be fully present in the journey. We stop obsessing over the destination and start finding meaning in every step along the way. The road may be long and the path may be filled with obstacles, but know this: you are growing, evolving, and becoming exactly who you are meant to be. Trust the process, embrace the journey, and know that every fall is just a part of rising higher. In life, we often find ourselves striving, pushing, and working tirelessly to make things happen. We plan, strategize, and exert every ounce of effort to control our outcomes, hoping that our hard work will bring the results we desire. But no matter how hard we try, there comes a point where we hit a wall. A moment when things just don't seem to go our way. It's in those moments of frustration and exhaustion that we're reminded of a powerful truth: the real magic begins when we step aside and allow God to do His work. Surrendering isn't about giving up, it's about giving over. It's about releasing the constant pressure we place on ourselves to figure everything out, to know every step before we take it. We often feel like we need to have all the answers, to know exactly where we're headed, and to control every detail of our journey. But in reality, the need to control everything limits what's possible. When we hold on too tightly, we leave no room for God to step in and do what only He can do. The beauty of surrender is that it opens the door to the miraculous. When we stop trying to force things to happen on our terms and let go of our need to understand every twist and turn, we make space for God's greater plan to unfold. And His plan is always better than anything we could ever imagine. When we surrender, we're not giving up our dreams, we're placing them in the hands of the one who knows exactly how to bring them to life. Trusting in God means accepting that we don't need to know everything. We don't need to have all the answers, because He does. His perspective is so much broader than ours, and He sees the bigger picture that we can't always see. What may seem like a delay or a detour to us is often part of a divine setup, positioning us for something far greater than we could ever plan for ourselves. The challenge is learning to trust that. Even surrendering allows us to release the anxiety, the fear, and the worry that come from trying to control things beyond our reach. When we truly let go, we're no longer bound by our own limited vision. We're free to experience the fullness of what God has in store: blessings, opportunities, and miracles that surpass anything we could have orchestrated on our own. So surrender your need to know, to control, and to figure it all out. Trust that God is leading you towards something greater than your wildest dreams. When you let go and allow Him to work, that's when the miracles begin to unfold. In life, we often struggle with the urge to control everything, but true strength and peace come when we let go and trust God. Fear may try to keep us bound, but faith empowers us to release our grip and embrace a bigger divine plan. God's plan for us is greater than anything we can imagine, and though the journey may be long and challenging, each step, stumble, and setback is a vital part of the process. By surrendering our need to understand every detail, we open ourselves up to the miracles waiting to unfold. It's in the surrender when we step aside and trust in His timing that we experience the fullness of life. So let go of the need to control, trust the process, and watch as God leads you to something far beyond your dreams. The miracles are already in motion. Trust Him and let them happen. So as you walk out of here tonight, I want you to do one thing: let go. Let go of the fear, let go of the doubt, let go of the need to have all the answers, and trust that God is working all things for your good.